Hi, Mr. Bunker. I'm Kylie Bunker. I'm your registered dietitian that's going to help you with any questions that you have regarding your type 2 diabetes. And I also heard that you have some questions about carbohydrates in your diet.
Okay, sweet.
So, first I want to kind of go over what type 2 diabetes is. I'm sure you have a little bit of knowledge of that, of course, but just to kind of give you an overview. So type 2 diabetes is when your body has trouble using insulin properly, which causes your blood sugar to rise too high.
Okay.
But what you eat makes a really big difference, and we can work together to make some changes that can really help you manage your type 2 diabetes.
Okay, cool.
So let's go over carbohydrates. What are carbs, right? So carbs are the part of food that turns into sugar in your blood. Not all carbs are bad, but eating too many can raise your blood sugar too high, which is a bit of an issue, right? Do you know which foods are too high in carbs or too low?
No, what are some of the foods I should avoid? Carbs I should avoid?
So you don't necessarily need to avoid these foods, but I would say let's look into maybe eating them less or eating them in much smaller portions. So foods that are high in carbohydrates are grains such as white rice, bread, pasta, and then starchy vegetables like potatoes, yams, and then also sugary drinks are high in that as well, like sodas and sweet tea. And then also there are a lot of snacks out there that are high in carbohydrates as well, like cookies and crackers, for example. But the lower carb foods are leafy greens, cucumbers, fish, chicken, eggs, nuts, seeds, and then of course you have water and those zero sugar drinks as well.
Okay, cool.
Which are a bit of a better choice. So Mr. Bunker, do you know how to read the labels on packaged foods?
A little bit, yeah. I've been trying to do that more.
Okay, great. That's awesome. So when you do look at the nutrition label on those packaged foods, it's really important to take a look at the amount of carbohydrates. So I recommend having 15 to 30 grams of carbs per meal, unless your doctor did specify otherwise. But that is what I suggest for you for that.
Okay.
And then let's also go over portion sizes. So an easy way to balance your meal is to use the My Plate method. Have you ever heard of My Plate?
Oh yeah, my doctor was telling me about that.
Awesome. Okay. So that's a really great way to portion out your food, and it's super easy to learn. And then after this, I can give you a little handout of the My Plate. So an example that would be really great to maybe look into would be like a half a plate of your non-starchy vegetables. That could be any really of the greens or okra or tomatoes, and then a fourth plate of lean protein like fish, eggs, or chicken, and then a fourth plate of carbs. So you could do like a small portion of rice, plantains, or fufu. And then, so for snacks and drinks, those are kind of where most people have a bit of a harder time. But I think that one of the quickest ways to raise your blood sugar is to drink lots of sugary drinks. And so that's where a lot of people have a hard time with that. So instead I would try, obviously, make sure you're drinking a lot more water throughout your day. But then you could also have like flavored water or tea with no sugar, and then those zero sugar drinks. Yeah. And then for snacks, again, that's also a really hard thing for a lot of people. A lot of people do gravitate more towards like crackers and cookies and things such. But instead, maybe you could try a small handful of nuts, some boiled eggs, vegetables with hummus, or just plain yogurt. Those are all really great options to give a try. And then these shouldn't spike your blood sugar too much, and they will also keep you pretty full throughout your day. So I do know that you were born in Ghana, so I'm not sure how much of those foods you tend to eat on a daily basis, but you can definitely incorporate those foods. Some traditional foods like plantains, rice, and fufu are very high in carbs, but we don't have to cut them out. We can just cut them back a little bit.
Okay.
So for portion sizing and balancing those, we could include more veggies and proteins. Like instead of a large portion of fufu, you could try a smaller ball and eat it with more soup and lean meat. So those are options. I don't want you to feel like you have to get rid of some of your favorite foods, but instead just eat them in moderation and make the portion sizes maybe a little smaller, or substitute certain things for maybe a healthier, more nutrient-dense option.
Okay.
And so this is a big learning process. There are going to be good days and bad days. We all have them. But I am here to support you, and I think that it is important to take it one step at a time. But I do have a printed guide for you of the My Plate, and then there's also a list of foods that are high in carbohydrates and low in carbohydrates. So I want you to take this and refer back to it as much as you can. But let me know if you have any other questions, and you can always give me a call. Thank you so much for coming in.
No, thank you, Kylie. This is very helpful.
Great.